This video is the companion video to the one that I just released a couple of days ago. That one dealt with the eastern half of the inscription band atop the register, the third register on the north wall. So just as a reminder, this is the Edfu Temple. This is the north wall of the enclosure wall being this one here. And the enclosure wall has inscriptions both on the outside and the inside. And I'm discussing with you right now what's written on the inside. So what you're seeing here is basically an expanded graphic illustrating the north wall, 3 registers. There's a basement that has its own inscription band. That inscription band also thematically covers some topics that are mentioned in register 1 and 2. And then the topmost register, to me, the most interesting one, because that's where the mythology of the first timers is mentioned. Memphite creation story, for example, here. And the themes that are covered on the topmost register are mentioned in a summary version in this inscription band right here. It's called the friese bandeau. And so the last video covered the eastern half of the north wall, and today I'm going to cover the west wall. Just a reminder that the center line of the north wall has a mirror image of the Horus, which is the son of the holy couple Hathor and Horus. The inscription band has an ankh sign marking the exact center. So you're going to see that in just a moment. We click this off. We don't need this anymore. So here's the ankh sign, and that this basically marks the center of the north wall. So the last video I was reading to the right, to the east, and so today we're going to go to the left. Now, before I start, just a little bit of history, not too much, but remember, this was inscribed sometime during the co-regency of Cleopatra III and her son Ptolemy Alexander X. This was coming out of a tumultuous time because the parents of Ptolemy X were engaged in a civil war with their Ptolemaic siblings. So there was a lot going on and a lot of politics, a lot of propaganda, obviously. But it turns out that Ptolemy X and Cleopatra III were popular in the south of Egypt. And so that explains, of course, some of this while they're mentioned here. So when you see the cartouches, just wanted to give you that background that this is now talking about Cleopatra III. So this is not the famous Cleopatra, which is Cleopatra VII. She wasn't born yet. This is Cleopatra III. That's Ptolemy X's second wife. I'm sorry, that's his wife that he married after he was reigning with his mom, Cleopatra II. So anyway, so let's start. So you can sort of think of this as long live, and this was the male Horus. So now here's the female Horus. So here's the Horus sign with the T indicating that it's feminine. So long live the female Horus, the great one. And with the great one, again, it's feminine. It's a she because of that T sign here, the great one. The mother divine, and the divine sign, the God sign, the netter sign comes before the word mother. Just that's called honorific preposition. So in the written version, it comes before the word mother, but when it is pronounced, when it is spoken, it's mentioned after the word mother. So you could say mother divine, but in English you'd say holy or divine mother. So the adjective will still come before the noun. But in Egyptian, this was written in this way, but spoken in the reverse. So the mother divine, ruler. This is the scepter, the crooked scepter, and so this is called the Hera scepter. Herat means the ruler. This is an egg-shaped sign that contextualizes this word that what's meant here is she, the mother. This basket sign means Neb, so the Lord, but because we're talking about a female, it's actually the mistress, so the mistress of the two lands. So Mother Divine, ruler, and mistress of the two lands. And here is now Cleopatra. So this is, of course, a Greek name, but in hieroglyphic, there was an approximation to spell it out. So here's this is a line sign that became the L in Ptolemaic hieroglyphic. So it's Cleopatra. This hand sign usually is a D, but in this time it was also substituted for T. So T and D, J, G, they all sounded similar. So in Ptolemaic, this is one of the problems with hieroglyphic, the Ptolemaic hieroglyphic, that the sounds begin to merge because that's how it was spoken. And so the signs sometimes designate, they can designate two different, the same sound, two different signs can designate the same sound. So in this case, the hand sign is pronounced T. So it's Cleopatra. And then also long live Zas. So Za is the sign, it means son, and that's the feminine, so it's referring back to her. So long also live her son. May long live her son. And that is, of course, Horus. So this is the Cleopatra is depicted as a not as a human female, but as a goddess who's bearing a godly child, which is Horus. So and interestingly, right here, which it's saying now that the god Horus is within her body. So it says Horus Neterai. Neterai is the divine sign within an enclosure. So Neterai means basically the heart that's beating inside of the divine body. So Neterai Emshet means the godliness or the divine inside of the body. Then this is Shenem Enes. Shenem Enes, that means she has united with her. Hepu Anch means the Apis bull. The living Apis bull has united with her. So this is as you can think of it as immaculate conception. So Cleopatra is obviously a human being, but she's shown here as a goddess, or she's representing a goddess who has mated with a god, which is the Apis bull, and the Apis bull represents Ptah also, and also Osiris, of course. And so the Apis bull has united with her, with Ze, this is feminine, so this refers back to her, and Hepu is referring to the Apis bull. And then it says Heri Mesechenui means above his two stone blocks, or above his two mud bricks. This, I don't understand what that means. That's how you translate it, but I don't know what the imagery is on which this is based. So this mating, apparently, or the bull is standing on two stone blocks. If somebody knows what that is, they can put it in the comment section. Even I don't think Dr. Kurth explained this in the text. And I just wanted to mention real quick, of course, everything I'm telling you is based on Dr. Kurth's transliteration and translation into German, and I'm giving you an English translation that is not available. So that way these texts become more accessible for all of you. Anyway, so Dr. Kurth in his notes of the text doesn't explain where this might be coming from, but I believe he gives a reference. But I don't have access to that reference right now. Anyway, so then Hunu, this is the child context sign. So Hunu means the child, and this is Nefer, means beautiful. So the beautiful child, which refers, of course, back to Horus, the child, beautiful child. And then this is Bener. Meret means sweet, the sweet beloved. You can think of this. Bener is a sweet fruit, so the sweet beloved. And going on, so Bener Meret, and then it says here, Zecha Enes, Zecha Enes Mutef. So this means the the uh, the mother has she has she has caused the child, the Horus child, to appear. Secha and this means this is causing to. Cha means appear, and is means it has happened. It's perfect aspect. So she has caused to or made appear. You could say it. S can also refer to neutral. So the child, uh, his mother, Horus's mother, Heri Neset Itef. So she has caused it, his mother has caused it to appear on the throne of his father. So here's a good example for Ptolemaic hieroglyphic coding, which is why, in part, why this is so difficult sometimes. So normally the word father is written with a regular T. So this is a regular T, a bread loaf sign. But here we have a seal sign. So why is this pronounced the same? So iti means father. This is silent. This is just a context sign that explains that what is being meant here is the father. And then this same horned viper, in this case, this refers to him. So his father. But why is this sign chosen? Well, it turns out that the word for seal is hetem. And one way that the Egyptians extracted sound values from certain signs to use them to spell phonetically is by taking the strongest consonant, and it's usually the middle one, not always, but typically was the middle consonant. So it's HTM, hetem, and they take the T, and then that becomes a sign for that sound. Why they're choosing this sign and not that sign, it may have something to do with the fact that this is the Horus child, that it comes from an immaculate conception, if you will, between Cleopatra III and the Apis. But I don't have an explanation for it. But there is a reason for it, because this is not coincidental. Otherwise, they would have chosen the T sign. A little bit later in this text, you will actually see this word used again, but then it's written with the regular T. So, anyways, so the mother has had him appear on the throne of his father. Then this says Tema'on means strong of arm. So he's a strong boy, strong of arm. Hu chasut means he strikes the foreign lands. Hu means to strike. Chas means the desert, foreign land, and chasut is plural, meaning foreign lands. This means iti em sechemef means he grabs, he takes for himself these lands as his power. Em sechemef means his power or his might. Might is maybe a better word. And then here we have Ra, but it's honorifically proposed. So this is the first word that we say. So like Ra instead of Ra like. You could say Ra like, but like Ra makes a little bit more sense grammatically. So like Ra, who illuminates from the achet, the horizon. So here's the jet pillar. Why is this being used here to spell out illuminate? Well, it has to do with the fact first that the word illuminate is pesej, and so here again we have the use of a sign for one of its one of its consonants, so the j sound, because pesej is means to illuminate, and so in order to code that sound in this particular case, the jet pillar was chosen. And there is probably a reason why it is the jet pillar. It may be to also invoke Osiris. and not just spell it out phonetically. In Ptolemaic hieroglyphic, the visual value of the signs actually heavily plays into the text, even though you're pronouncing this phonetically primarily, but what the sign shows also matters, which is not so common, I would say, in Old Egyptian, Middle Egyptian, but in late Egyptian, but especially in this phase of the language, this Ptolemaic hieroglyphic that was basically, it's a reinvented version of hieroglyphic to bring to life these old texts, but because these texts are much older than the Edfu Temple, they are from the grammar, from the words, from the style. These are Middle Egyptian texts, so some almost 2,000 years older than the Edfu Temple, and the originals were written in hieratic, and the scribes, the Ptolemaic scribes, brought these texts back to life by using this modernized version of hieroglyphic, which has a hugely expanded set of signs that were not used in this way during Middle or Old Egyptian. And however, the rules of phonetic phonology are the same. And Dr. Kurth points this out in his introduction to Ptolemaic, that they're still following the same rules as when hieroglyphic was invented. So they still, like the principle, for example, that you grab a consonant out of a word and then you use the sign, not as a word sign, but as a sound sign to represent that particular consonant. And that's what's at play here. Now, in this case, jed, so it's the first consonant that's being used here to spell pesej, which is in that case the last consonant. So PSJ means pesej, illuminate, and then to code that, they're using this. And of course, by itself, you wouldn't be able to tell, and the scribes knew that, so that's why they added a context sign so that the reader knows we're talking about sunlight. Okay, so in other words, whoops, what did I do? Where were we here? Yeah. So it was like, sorry. Here we go. Yeah. So like Ra, who illuminates from the horizon. And then now we have a new sentence. So here now we have the ladies, the two ladies, the two mistresses. This is the second oldest royal title. It's 5,000 years old. It was used almost from the very beginning when the Horus kings are mentioned in the records. So the reason why we know that this isn't just a vulture and a cobra is because they're sitting on this basket sign, and that basket sign denotes a divine status. So it would be Lord and Mistress. So Mistress Nechbet and Mistress Wajet. So the two ladies that Se'anch means they are bringing to life the two lands, the Taui. So the two ladies bring to life the two lands. And then here is Ka, the bull, the strong bull, Ka Nechet. Cherep means director, regent, means commander. Commander is probably a good way to translate it. So the strong bull who commands, the She Nehe means the endless, the eternal lake. She means lake. This is the sign for eternity. So the eternal lake, Dr. Kurth was speculating here that this may be the Mediterranean Sea, because Ptolemy X came back to Egypt as from Cyprus. So he entered Egypt as a royal after he had been outside of the country, outside of Egypt. So it could be that, but not necessarily. We just don't know. It's an interesting designation if that is Mediterranean Sea, because Mediterranean Sea is usually Wajur, so it's the Great Green. So it's a different name. I wouldn't say that this is for sure the Mediterranean Sea. It could be mythological. It could be the mythologically meant an eternal lake, wherever that may be. It could be an ocean. And then so going on, Horus, great of mind. So I means he's great of mind, intelligent, intellectual. That's kind of how you can translate that. Neteru Mary. So this is again honorifically preposed. It means beloved of the gods. And then here's an interesting way to spell Egypt, Baret, or Wajet, if you will. So beloved of the gods of Egypt. So there's the Horus eye sign. Here is the location context sign, and then this a phonetic complement. So we know that this is Wajet, and this is the location. Then here is the ruling prince, the ruler. So this is a word sign, and so is that. So the prince and ruler of the two forehead cobras. So yeah, these are the wajet. These are the two cobras that the king wears on his forehead, and there you can see them, and that is a power sign. And so yeah, here's the confirmation that Ptolemy may be entering Egypt, because that's what this means. Oref means he enters. He enters. Oref, means he enters into. Ta Meri. It's also an unusual way to spell the word Egypt. So this is another way. So it's the beloved land, if you will, literally. But this is another way in Ptolemaic hieroglyphic to spell the name Egypt. So we have the one way, which was Wajet or Baret, is another way to say this. And then we have Tameri, which is beloved land, Egypt, referring to Egypt. Hetep, in peace. So he's entering Egypt in peace, and this is referring to Ptolemy 10, but of course Ptolemy 10 is Horus. So in the mythology, it's Horus that enters Egypt. Interestingly, what that means is that Horus is a foreigner. He comes into Egypt as a foreign god. That's one way you could read it. It's something to consider. So the mythological founding god of Egypt in this particular text is referred to as someone who enters into Egypt after being born, after taking power, striking foreign lands, and then he, with his power symbols, the head cobras, he enters Egypt in peace. So he's not coming to Egypt to fight with Egypt, but he comes in peace. So there he is again, the ruling prince, ruler, and that's Sujet means legitimate. So he's the legitimate ruler, and the legitimization, of course, is divine. So because he's of divine birth, and he's born to an Egyptian queen. Therefore, he has the birthright to rule. That's what this kind of means. So Sejet, Hera Sejet means the legitimate ruler, and then this means Menfutev means his soldier, so his army basically. So they are jubilating. So he's entering the country, and his army is jubilating, celebrating his entry. And the Neteru and Neteretu, so these are the male and female gods. Saf means they are in his protection. They have given him, so Redai NF means to him, Redai means to give, Redai NF, Za Osha means many, Osha means many, and Za, this is the sign for Hepset. So Hepset is the Jubilee, when a king, after a certain amount of years, he was still vigorous, he could still rule the country, then he had to perform an exercise, and a ritual exercise, and basically demonstrating that he's still able to rule. That's something that, of course, we could use in the United States for our presidents. But so anyway, so that this is a Hepset renewal jubilee, and it says here that the Horus king has basically been given many successful Hepsets, and they come from Many means great. Yeah, I forgot this. So he has been given many great. Uru means the great ones. This is the Hepset sign, and this is so many great Hepsets have been given to him. Uh, Going on, ein means uh, by peta. And see, here's a good sign. So you could spell ein, you could use a different form of n, but the crown is chosen here, and that's because we're talking about a king, and we're talking about a god king. So that's why the n is spelled with a crown instead of just a regular water sign, for example. There's also other ways to spell an n with a jar, for example. But so this is a good example of how the visuals of the sign add to enhance the meaning of the text. So ein, and this is of course peta tatenen. So this is the Memphite creator god, whose creation story is actually written right below this band, which I have published, right? So this is the creation story, and this is the band that runs across. So so it is in fact Ptah Tatinen who has conferred many great Hepsets, jubilees to the Horus king, and has given him, again, Redai NF has given to him, he has given to him Nesut. Nesut means kingdoms. He has given to him kingdoms of, and this is Ra and this is Atum. So the kingdoms of Ra and Atum. Then this means Renef, his strength, and Nechet, also kind of his strength. His strength is power, his strength is might. These are related words in English, but in hieroglyphic, they're slightly different. So, but you can sort of think strength, power, might. That's roughly where these two land in terms of meaning. Ein, and here again by, and now this, you, from the two feathers in the crown, you know that this is Amun. So so strength and power by Amun, which is the third. So these are all the major gods, the creator gods of Egypt, right? So you have Ptah Tatenen, you have Ra, you have Atum, the evening god of the sun, the evening sun god, and then here you have Amun, the invisibility principle. So here's Neb Mao means the Lord of cosmic order, who I Rai Mao means who makes cosmic order, and then here we have this sign Semen means to establish, who Semen Hepu, and Hepu means laws. So Hepu, here's the context sign, a papyrus strip that indicates that they're written. So Semen Hepu, and then here we have Jehuti, the twice great, the great Jehuti, and then the me sign. So this is honorifically preposed again. So it's actually so like Jehuti. Why? Because Thoth is of course the one who records the creation words of the creator and stores them in the divine archive. So so this is just just the same principle that laws are recorded in writing, just like Thoth, the original recorder, archivist, and the inventor of writing. And then it says here, now here's the titulary for Ptolemaios. So he is Nesunbiti, king of Upper and Lower Egypt. This is the throne name of Ptolemaios. And here's the Zara, means the son of the sun, the sun god. And then here's the name of Ptolemaios. So Ptolemies. And then here's his accolades written next to it, his epithets written next to it. Horus Behedeti. So it's basically saying Ptolemaios is appearing as a representative of Horus of Edfu. Behedet. This is Behdet. Behdet is how you pronounce this. So this is BH. This is a biliteral. This is D. This is T. So Behedet means it's one way to refer to Edfu. So Horus Behedet, the divine great. So the great divine, actually, the great god. Again, honorific preposition. Neb, pet, means Lord of the sky. There's the sky for context, so we know what we're supposed to think of when we read this. And this means sab, shoot, which means it means motley, the motley plumed, and that has to do with the feather coat of the falcon, which is, has these little beautiful golden dots in it. So it's a descriptive term that refers to the beauty of the falcon's plumage. So motley of plumage, and then the rest of this. I will switch to a different image in just a moment because it'll be easier to see, but we're here. So it says now, Parai em achet. So here, if you remember in the last video, on the opposite side of the wall, they were using a disk with one wing to spell exactly the same idea. So that was the sun flying out of the lotus blossom, or coming forth from the lotus blossom, and it's that verb is called perai. And perai is here now more traditionally spelled with the half house and the horned viper emerging from it. So perai means to come forth from the achet, the horizon. And then it says here the oa, the oap. The op is the flying disc. So and there is the flying disc context sign or the word sign of this. So it's spelled phonetically, and there's the word sign. So the api is the flying disc, and here's shepes. Shepes means the splendid, the honorable. But shepes, splendid, is a good way to translate. So in his splendor, the flying disc. Genti aireti means foremost of the temples. So airet is one word to say temple. Hut is another one, but in this case, airet. And this is Neb, so all temples. So he's the foremost of all temples. He's the Lord of. Here is another. This is another way to say God because of the God flag here. So he's the Lord of the gods, and he is Heret Neteru. He's above the gods. So Horus is the Lord of the gods. He's above the gods. This is a Ptolemaic word sign that designates shrines, sanctuaries. So Gesu Peru. This is the house sign. It's plural, so there's Peru, and this means Gesu. So Gesu Peru means the sanctuaries. Heri, and then it says this means Chet Heri Renef. This is his name. This means it is in this. It's inscribed. What this means here. There's other ways to say it, but this is in this context. It means inscribed. They are inscribed on them with his name. So the sanctuaries of Egypt, carry his name. Irenenef, so he has made. Irai means to make. En means perfect tense, so it has happened in the past. Irenef, and that refers to him. He has made Menu, and Menu means monument, not Manu. Menu, it means monument. And now I'm going to switch to a great photo. This was taken by Charles Lancelotta, and he allows me to use this photo. This was taken in 2019 by him when we visited the Edfu Temple with the Oracle, Robert Chuck and Katie Ulysses tour with our tour guide, Mohammed Ibrahim. So we went to the Edfu Temple, and Charles was able to take this amazing picture. This actually, there's a bigger photo, and I just cropped the relevant section here. So here's the creation story. This is the last columns. The first 12 columns are hidden behind the naos here. So this is what you can see when you walk through that aisleway up to the northern wall. But Charles was able to, I think he must have climbed up on the wall to take the shot, because this is about 30 feet up in the air, and he has a straight on image. So it's an amazing picture, and you have a very nice resolution. You can see the symbols very clearly. Anyway, so let's continue. So there's Ptolemy. Just to capitulate this. So Horus, this is Ptolemy's, right? Then we have Horus of Edfu, great god, lord of the sky, motley plumed, who comes forth from the horizon. The 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 splendid winged disc, the Api, foremost of all the temples, the the uh, the Lord of the gods, above all the gods, whose name is on the sanctuaries. He has made this monument. Yeah, pen. So PN means pen means this. So Manu means the monument. So he has made this monument. And then this is Nefer means beautiful. So he has made this perfected or beautiful monument. And then here it says, Nai cheper, the beetle is scratched out. So Nai cheper, mitetef, Jerry, and that means this means pautiu. So none like it. Mitetef means its likeness. So none has appeared in its likeness since the primordial ones. So that refers to the Edfu Temple. The Edfu Temple is basically the most beautiful, the most perfected structure that exists in Egypt since it was first built in the mythological age of the first time. So that is the inscription band now on both the east and the west. And of course, they continue this continues on the west wall. There's some amazing texts that deal with the creation story, some details that are important that are not mentioned here. It basically fills in some detail that from this creation story. And I am going to cover this in a different video in the near future. And then also the other side, the east side, I'm going to eventually do. So we're going to cover the inscription band as it continues now around the corner, on the west corner, on the west wall of the enclosure. And then another video I'll do to continue around the corner on the east side to finish that part of the text.